Cycle 4. The last video actually ended up kind of mid this cycle, but I want to start at the beginning of the cycle just as a reminder of sort of where we are. This cycle's a nice way of benchmarking sorts of things. Okay, so at this TIG 60 right at the start of the cycle, I'm sitting pretty on 24 stars. I've got good science. My economy is not as much as high as I would like it to be. This is an expensive tech trading game, so I've definitely spent more tech trades tended, especially because a lot of techs outside my alliance kind of keep soda water clean, keep soda water happy by doing 2-for-1 trades of lower value techs versus weapons and things like that. And note that I'm sitting pretty with a lead on pretty much most techs except for fermentation. Cool, need to. So very happy about all of it. I'm wrapping up Barat here, who has been attacking me since day one, like tick 4 or something like that, tick 10 I think. And I'm setting up for a strike on Anchorite. This is the start of the cycle, right? 24. This is an active war. This is not yet an active war. All right. We got to first thing in the cycle, land this, find a new friend. Okay. I launch the rest of Barat stars. And I launch a secondary war, so 2 wars at once in the south here. Now, again, I've said this many times. Well, I've said it once more, once for the Solaris video. I've said it many times to other people. You want to be expanding on multiple borders if you can to do it. You know, 2 borders, you can grow twice as fast, maximum speed as 1 border. If you're going to be winning on the border, anyway, in terms of complete route, sending more ships at it isn't going to make it go faster. So I've got these guys in view now, and I reach out to both to basically say, hey, look, I'm not going to attack you next. Cases just blanked me. Fine. Peculiar, at least. Kind of see what we're allied briefly in a second. And at this point, right, bear in mind, there are 12 players currently in the game and 4 bots. I'm bordering 10 of them, right, including me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, to die. So I'm basically right smack in the middle. Come back to that in a second. I'm still feeling pretty good about myself. So let's carry on with cycle. I think this is about where I left off. Right, just before Tig's gonna land. Actually gonna land. Notice my weapons level. Oops. Right, that means that this battle would have been a loss, is now a win. These, I mean, he could have picked one of these to block. He didn't, probably. But this is fine. Both better. Like Burat's basically paying attention at this point. He also has a kernel here that he could have used to piss me off. I still would have won again with the weapons boost, but it would have been painful. Whereas it have a pushover, right? Would right. North, right? Take that. Go up to Gandru. We reveal more here. Do after my weapon to do a little quick scanning dip because of I rolled it. So it was like 4 ticks to get scanning, something like that. Although yeah, why not? That reveals lots of stuff, including lots of home stars. And looky here, a world builder. I'm going to come back to the world builder in a second because there's 2 that both piss me off. This is pretty much done, right? There is I'll come back, right? He launches, he then agrees, actually, oops, I would have been able to land, build an infiltrator, blow up his ships, and leave it wide open. I'm not quite ready for this war, and so I decide not to. So when he says oops, I do say, okay, well, we can ally up. I'll just keep around and hang out a little bit. I mean, I honestly don't think it's going to be that long, maybe like 2 cycles tops before I'm fighting here as well. If they're smart, they're going to be unifying. I'll come back to that again as well. But basically, there's nothing else exciting in the north apart from that when I capture this star, reveal his capital. Come back to the state of the world. Now go back kind of 2 ticks, right? Remember the start of the cycle? We were not at war yet, right? And this is kind of like pushing against wet tissue paper, right? He makes one not very successful attempt to kill 3 carriers, take the star, blow up the ships because my weapons drop. That's blown up, and everything's just kind of moving through, not really much slower than if this was exploration, right? Now, things are set up down here. Okay, here I'm now stabilizing, right? There's nothing else to do. I got my buddy coming here, so we're going to have eventually 2 of us can attack Peculiar here, which would be nice. Or maybe he'll take Peculiar and I'll probably have to do both, let's face it. I am building up some reserve fleets here, so my Imp and a Lieutenant are going back to here just so they're out of scan range. Where I'll be building a nice little fleet to deal with things, so he's kind of collecting locally. I built my first warp gate because this allows me to have this route with natural gates plus my new gate. This works with an explorer, and then I'll be able eventually to connect this up. That's another home star, so it'll be about the same cost, right? And of course that looks there as well, again with the explorer. So not too bad from a gate. I've got this one here too, right? 2 gates, I can connect all of that, which is very, very useful, especially because this game is so slow. Right. Now, my next round of attacks, right, that will take me up to the end of this cycle, assuming they work, once again, landing just after my weapons drop. Right. The fun thing is I took 2 sides from him, which brought my weapons drop 1 tick earlier, so I'm now going to be attacking him 1 tick earlier thanks to his own science that he's given me. That's got to add insult to injury. Unfortunately, I sent this ship. I should have held back. I sent this ship before I built this, and then I realized I could have just brought it here. So I'm going to have these 50 coming down at least, right? They're going to be able to cover these, which is nice. And then have an explorer here, right? Which in 6 ticks will be down this one with 28, 9, so another 40, yeah, just over 40 ships. Well, right. I need to build up my wormhole fleet. Like I've used it a couple of times. I am worried about Pretty Kitty. They've just eaten Johan. They're going to be thinking about their next fight. Hopefully they think I'm not the best one to fight. They'll attack Wamato or something like that. Someone a bit more obvious for them. But because I don't really want that front to open up. I really want to just kill these 4, to be honest, right? And I'll explain again the big picture in a second. So that's so much for the wars. This is going to end up. I'm going to build an infiltrator here to launch on his capital, which again will launch and land just after the weapons drop, right? That will make me weapons 2 versus weapons 4, so double. I don't think he can block that. He certainly can't block that and block all of these. It's worth it, right? The only thing I'm worried about is I have not seen him use a single token. And Wamato also says he's not used a single token. I was expecting to see a world build was happening here, but I haven't. So I am a little bit worried about him dropping a war machine or something. But to be honest, I just got to risk it, right? You know, there's no war without risk. And at that ratio, okay, he'll win that. I can either just let it run down, or think about like wrapping everything else and just let it run down or something. I don't know, right? I'll work it out if that happens. Now, first of all, big picture, and then I will complain about world builders. So, big picture. Let's connect the dots. what I'm doing is connecting all the capitals. I have capitals here. Do both of them. So let's get here to there and there. Now we'll go up to cool. So I'm only missing one player. Right, I'm missing some bots on my screen. In fact, I've got no bots on my screen, considering there's 4 bots. Right. So this means that Johann's capital was a bot here. Okay. It also means here's my capital. Cygnus's capital must be here, right? There's nothing here, so that means of the possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 capitals I could have been next to, I was next to 5. So pretty well surrounded. These seem to be going southward, and he's got a wormhole, so it could be going through the wormhole. I think there might be someone here, judging by their behavior. I know that there's 2 bots here. I know that there are. Hope that stays. Oh well. I know that Grumpy Reaper and Juan the Smith are here. No idea where Fome is. AK died this cycle from somebody else. Sadly, before I killed Barat, but I'm letting that star go to someone else, and there's the Colonel there that I just don't care about. No idea where Slow and Steady is. Right? It'd be funny if Slow and Steady is here. What should be happening is that the map should be uniting against me, right? Pretty Kitty should now be bordering Anchorite. In theory, there is a straight line of people here, right? The absolute worst case scenario for me right now is that these people, plus Slow and Steady, decide, shit, this guy's trouble, we need to ally up. They all attack me now. Especially if Soda Water joins the party, right? I think I can handle this. I don't think I can also handle this. And be winning on these fronts, right? I could probably hold with my weapons lead. But I want to be winning, I want to be going, especially because my allies are going to be chewing up bots. So I'm trying to convince my allies to bring Soda Water on. I'm a bit in 2 minds about this because basically it's the obvious smart tactical move. I think if I've got Cygnus, Wamata, and Soda Water, right? Wamata and Soda Water bordering Pretty Kitty. I'm going to be taking out Anchorite. Cygnus can help me with Peculiar and potentially Pretty Kitty and the bots here who I don't care about. So with that 4, I basically think we've won. Right? Remember, Cygnus has a wormhole to basically get next to Soda Water as well. And so I'm a bit hesitant to do it because I think it makes the game too easy. But it's definitely a smart tactical choice. At the same time, if I was any of these players, I would be saying, look, if I look at Peculiar, right? If someone with these stats, these techs relative to me, I had more when we started. He didn't trade with these 2 weren't trading until I came into view, so it's a sign that there's something going on. If I saw someone with this much extra tech than me walking up on my border, I would be like, shit. Time to rally the troops. Right? These 2 are trading. Go outside today is not. Completely different tech profile. Right? Pretty Kitty. Well, Anchorite, sorry, I'll look at first. Anchorite is also not trading, right? Completely different tech profile. Pretty Kitty trading with Anchorite? I doubt it. No, I don't think so. I think this is just from before. So they're not allied at all. They could be. They could do it if someone was looking across the board, but I don't think they are. And so that's why, like, the more fun game is we don't take Soda Water on. But there's a loading 32 player 2 hours that I want to play. I'd rather this doesn't drag on for 2 months and have another game overlapping it. So bring Soda Water on. I think that's pretty much game. Maybe arrogant to say it, but I think I can take on these 3 with where I currently sit. Now, and Anchorite's toast, right? I'm going to be taking at least. I don't think I'm going to take like another name. I wonder if this is intentional, like Tosu and Tossi. I'm definitely going to be taking these 4. No, it's these 3 this cycle. I'm probably taking his capital this cycle. If I do that, these are following like wet tissue paper. Not that everything else has been well structured. I've got another 100 ships, 120 ships coming down after this wave. And those 150 ships coming down out of this wave. I think I can only see 125. Right? Fine, there's two nebulas, whatever. So, and I'm going to have two weapons up and a sabot and an infiltrator in the area. There's no way that this is not following next cycle. I've spoken to Wamato whether he mind's been cut off. He says no, he's got butts, he's got pretty kitty, it's cool. And so I'll be turning northward, probably through. Go outside today first. Well, starting to prepare for this. This, to be honest, Anchorite alone, his stars with some tweaking, they are relatively shit stars, I will say. I definitely had better starting stars than that, just looking at the relative quality. But Anchorite alone, maybe with sort of certainly Anchorite and my capitals focusing on go out to the side today, no chance, right? And then the Barat kind of extended area, preparing for war here, with Cygnus there, perfectly fine. So that's my big picture plan, right? And now to bitch about world builders. Look at this, right? World builder built here. This is built on the capital star. Okay, a world builder built here. I think these were probably built in the first tick of the game. We started with 10 tokens. I was tempted to look at it and I thought, no, that's not worth it. And this fully justifies my position, right? Because these have gained almost nothing by this point, right? This, capital star, compared to mine, starts from 552. So she has gained 1 econ, 2 industry, and 1 science by building for 10 tokens. That's about 200 tops, right? Probably not even 200 credits worth of infrastructure for 10 specialist tokens. Just not worth it, right? This one, all right, 522, it's pretty pathetic, to be honest, right? My, this, okay, fine, like this was locally built up by Barat. So that one I stole. I'll come back to that. This one is one that I've been building up organically. This is higher than that, right? They are now equal, not even quite. So he must have started on a crap star. It is now almost as good. So at this point, he's gained. Let's just say it was this star, right? For equivalence, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's about right. If it was about 10. So that has 1 economy, so he's gained 4 economy, 2 industry, and 2 science, right? Okay, fine, that's now 300 credits worth, but you're not paying 30 credits for 1 specialist token. That's ridiculous. Compare, if I go all the way back, right? Compare to the explorers, right? My explorer build, so 6 credits, meant I definitely got to this before anybody else, right? This Wamata would totally have gotten to before me, had I not had the explorer, right? Which then opens up those stars. So those 3 stars alone, right, just from the 6 explorers, right, I got those 3 stars. Or if we think about, the attack things I've used, a lot of these stars I wouldn't have got if not for my LT and infiltrator for 5 tokens, right? So 6 tokens, 5 tokens, 11 tokens total, right? That's what I spent. Now, let's skip to the future, right? 542, 753, 863, right? Just those 3 stars is already better than the world builder. Remember, that was my explorers, got me those. If you factored in all of these, if you claimed I wouldn't get these without the other tokens, which I think is probably true, I certainly wouldn't be this far, right? Because if I'd run out of ships, probably around here. But fine, let's just say those, way more value early on from both the explorers and the war specs, right? And this is so vulnerable. When the time comes to attack, I'm going to just load up 100 ships, get 1 more range, bang them at them. There's nothing she can do to defend that. It's just not possible, right? Every single ship there is going to be killed. I mean, okay, fine, she can swap, she can flip to an orbital cannon. That would be her only option, but then she's wasted her 10 tokens, right? So that world build is gone before it's had its impact. And we're too tightly packed in for this to have been a smart move. Especially on your capital, it's so vulnerable. And also the capital, like, it already had infrastructure, so what a waste of money. What a waste of tokens. So yeah, world builders, I can see the appeal. I was considering it at the start of the game. I thought about it, and I feel so justified in my decision not to because it's too expensive by comparison with what you're going to get from any other thing with the same tokens. Even buying that from the outset. Later in the game, I can see buying it. When you've got spec 5, spec 10, or something like that, right? And one cycle's worth of spec tokens, you got a few in reserve, and you haven't used them all. I can see a world builder being worth it, worth buying. I heard that they're roughly equivalent to about 1.5 stars a cycle. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds about right. And especially on marginal games, that can be something I can see. But for your first thing with 10 tokens only, spending all your tokens on a world builder, terrible move. Really terrible move. And I'm going to get them, right? If they don't replace them with something else when I attack, which they might do, I'm going to get those world builders. And there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, fine, they can replace it with a war machine, I guess, or something like that. But I don't think they have the tokens for it because they've spent 10. Go outside today, I think is still on spec 1. They're still on spec 1. Right now, they might, if they've kept every single token, by the time I attack, they might have enough for a world builder if they've used nothing else. And then they spent 15 tokens for a star which is going to die in 7 cycles. To kill their own capital star in this context as well, which would be even more hilarious. So yeah, so that's my rant over. Yeah, world builders for opening move. I don't think it's a smart move. I was very satisfied with my explorers. The raider from Cygnus is another good shout as well for being faster, but it's also way more expensive. And those explorers are really good value. Nab a couple stars. Probably going to be a recurring option. 3? Yeah, 3. And that range boost plus the 1.5 speed, those are both incredibly useful. So, rant over.